Hey Wealth Waveview family! Today, we're diving into a monumental shift in global finance. Saudi Arabia has just joined the mBridge CBDC platform, and it's set to change how oil is traded forever. Get ready to understand the birth of the Petroyuan and what it means for the US dollar and your wallet. Stay tuned! For decades, the US dollar has ruled global oil trade. But what if I told you that this reign is about to be challenged? Saudi Arabia, a key player in the oil market, has joined mBridge, a cutting-edge cross-border payment platform leveraging central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. And they're ready to trade oil using China's digital yuan. That's right, folks, a new era is dawning. Now, you might be wondering, what are CBDCs? Simply put, they're digital versions of national currencies issued by central banks. Unlike cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, CBDCs come with the full legal backing of the issuing central bank. Imagine the digital dollar, but with the strength and trust of the US government behind it. CBDCs are catching on like wildfire. According to the Atlantic Council, 134 countries and currency unions, representing 98% of global GDP, are exploring CBDC development. That's almost the entire world. From increasing payment efficiency to boosting financial inclusion, CBDCs are set to revolutionize how we move money. And Saudi Arabia's move is just the beginning. Enter mBridge, a revolutionary cross-border payment platform that promises to make international transfers nearly instant, cheap, and seamless. Launched in 2021, mBridge has been rigorously tested and recently hit its minimum viable product, or MVP stage. This platform is a collaboration between some of the world's financial powerhouses, including China, Thailand, the UAE, and Hong Kong, aimed at enabling smooth CBDC transactions. Here's where things get interesting. Traditional cross-border transfers carried over the SWIFT network can take up to 5 days and cost around 6.25% per $200 transaction. With mBridge, these transfers are nearly instant and much cheaper. Can you imagine sending and receiving money across borders at the speed of light? Game-changing, right? In case you think this is all talk, let's look at a real-world example. In November 2023, China used its digital yuan to purchase $19 million worth of oil at the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange. This marked one of the first major international trades using digital currency. The future is now, folks. Why does this matter? Because it signals China's intent to bring the digital yuan onto the global stage to support yuan internationalization. And with Saudi Arabia on board, the days of the petrodollar could be numbered. It's not a matter of if, but when we'll see a shift toward using CBDCs for oil purchases. That's the birth of the Petroyuan. China is Saudi Arabia's biggest customer for oil, with trade between these nations increasing year by year. By using the digital yuan through mBridge, these transactions become more efficient, cutting out the need for the US dollar as an intermediary. Imagine the savings and speed. And it doesn't stop with China. Countries with CBDCs from BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are also eyeing the perks of mBridge. This platform breaks SWIFT's monopoly on cross-border payments, allowing smaller nations to trade more efficiently and enforce their own sanctions without heavy oversight. This pivot will impact more than just currency exchange for oil. The geopolitical ramifications are vast. Imagine a world where sanctioned countries can still trade easily, bypassing existing restrictions thanks to platforms like mBridge. That's a massive shift in global power dynamics. Remember, in November 2023, China used its digital currency to make a historic purchase of $19 million worth of oil. That wasn't just an isolated event. It was a clear message to the world about where we're headed. The global stage is set for the digital yuan, and the implications are profound. Just to recap, CBDCs are not like cryptocurrencies. They're digital forms of national currencies issued by central banks and have full legal backing. The concept is to make payments faster, cheaper, and more inclusive, especially in international trade. mBridge takes this idea to the next level. So, what exactly is mBridge? It's an ecosystem for cross-border payments that uses distributed ledger technology to facilitate transactions between multiple CBDCs. Think of it as a digital hub where central banks can issue and exchange their currencies instantly. And now, with Saudi Arabia involved, this platform is set to transform how oil is traded. The difference between mBridge and SWIFT is night and day. While SWIFT is the backbone of global currency transfers, it's slow and expensive. mBridge, on the other hand, offers near-instantaneous transactions at a fraction of the cost. Imagine transferring money across the globe in the blink of an eye. That's the power of mBridge. Launched by the Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub in collaboration with the Bank of Thailand, the Central Bank of the UAE, the People's Bank of China, and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, mBridge has been under rigorous development and testing since 2021. With over $22 million successfully sent during live trials, the system has proven its potential. Reaching the MVP stage means mBridge is now ready for trial users who will help refine and perfect the system. By mid-2025, we could see mBridge fully operational, ushering in a new era of CBDC transfers and international trade efficiency. Imagine how much smoother and quicker your business transactions could become. But mBridge isn't just an upgrade in speed and cost. It's set to change how the world handles sanctions and international relations. Instead of a central authority like SWIFT enforce sanctions, mBridge allows individual central banks to maintain their own lists. This means more autonomy and flexibility for countries around the globe. Consider this: Russia was partially banned from SWIFT in 2022, and countries like Iran and Cuba have faced full bans. With mBridge, we're looking at a platform that can potentially bypass these sanctions, providing an alternative route for countries to conduct business. This could fundamentally alter the geopolitical landscape. The Center for Economic Policy Research found that more than 1 in 4 countries face sanctions by the UN or Western governments, accounting for 29% of global GDP. Imagine the economic shift if these countries could trade freely using a system like mBridge. Adding to the intrigue, reports suggest that the Kissinger-negotiated 1974 security pact between the US and Saudi Arabia has lapsed. This pact essentially tied Saudi oil sales to the dollar in exchange for military aid. While some sources label these reports as fake news, the timing is peculiar. Saudi Arabia joined mBridge just days before the pact allegedly lapsed. Whether or not the security pact specifically mandated dollar-only transactions, it's indisputable that the majority of Saudi's oil sales since 1974 have been in US dollars. The lapse or rumored changes in this pact could be more than a coincidence, hinting at a shift in global power dynamics. With Washington currently negotiating a new strategic alliance agreement with Saudi Arabia, complications arise with the requirement that Saudi Arabia establish diplomatic ties with Israel. Given Saudi Arabia's need for US weapons for its intervention in the Yemeni civil war, it would seem unlikely that they would completely alienate the US. So, while it's prudent to treat these reports with caution due to their fake news label, the timing and sequence of events are too interesting to ignore. It suggests a potential shift away from the dollar-centered oil trade, a change that could have profound global implications. mBridge is set to redefine oil trade, especially if digital yuan transactions for oil become standard. While the overall impact on the dollar might appear modest in sheer numbers, the geopolitical and financial shifts will be immense. For instance, in 2023, China's crude oil imports from Saudi Arabia were about $63 billion. Compare this to the $150 trillion SWIFT transfers, where 59% are in US dollars, and you'll see how significant even a small shift can be. In global terms, the Petroyuan might seem like a small player, but its symbolic value is huge. Imagine the impact of China using its own currency to buy a globally traded commodity like oil. It will have done so on a system it helped design, mBridge, pushing the envelope further for CBDCs. We can't overlook the larger trend here. Once digital yuan for oil becomes the norm, we could see a broader acceptance of other CBDCs from countries like Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. It's a slow process, but one with the potential to disrupt the current financial order. These changes don't mean the dollar will be dethroned, but they signal the start of a new era in international finance. China has never claimed it aims to topple the dollar, but rather to diversify its options. Holding $3.2 trillion in foreign reserves, China stands to benefit from a more balanced international financial system. Keep an eye on the evolving trade patterns. Saudi Arabia's move to mBridge could encourage other nations to follow suit. Imagine Brazil buying Chinese goods without converting to dollars first. That's a significant cost and time saving right there. Currently, foreign trades into China carried by SWIFT require a two-step currency conversion, with the dollar used as an intermediary. For example, a Brazilian company importing refrigerators from China must first convert reals into US dollars before converting them into Chinese RMB, adding extra expense. With mBridge, this entire process simplifies. Direct transfers between developing nations' currencies will enhance market liquidity and open opportunities for direct trade. It's a win-win for businesses and economies alike. Asia is already leading the development of CBDCs. Imagine if trade among Asian giants like Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, and China were conducted using CBDCs. The dollar's role in that trade, around 20% of China's $5 trillion trade, could significantly decline. De-dollarization will be slow until it isn't. We might dismiss the gradual changes, but this is a dangerous strategic mistake. Ignoring these leaks in the financial system could be perilous, especially in today's fast-paced global economy. Many pundits focus on whether the dollar will be dethroned. The obvious answer? No. But that's missing the subtle and impactful shifts. CBDCs and platforms like mBridge are laying the groundwork for a diversified financial ecosystem that's less dollar-centric. Here's the important question: would a non-dollar transfer system with lower costs, faster transfers, and sanction resistance appeal to nations? Absolutely. With 70 countries actively seeking de-dollarization, the shift is inevitable. Don't underestimate the power of competition and the underdogs in this scenario. De-dollarization will be slow until it isn't. Imagine a sudden economic shock or calamity that accelerates this shift. Those ignoring the slow leak will be caught off guard, questioning what just happened. The dollar might face a situation similar to Willy Loman in Death of a Salesman. The dollar is riding on a smile and a shoe shine. And when they start not smiling back, that's an earthquake. So, there you have it, guys. Saudi Arabia joining mBridge is a huge signal that the winds of change are blowing. The birth of the Petroyuan and the slow but certain de-dollarization process are rewriting the rules of global finance. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Let's build a community where we can discuss these game-changing trends. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the conversation started.